tell a bit more about what did happen with you before you reached out to me and joined the program.
So I reached out to you um, so I had actually been taking finasteride for a while,
Right.
but about 9 or 10 years after taking it, I began to see that it was not working anymore, and that I noticed a lot of thinning on the crown in particular, and I saw that the year before I reached out to you that it had become quite bad, that I had to use maybe some products on top to hide it or wear a cap, or I just wasn't very feeling very good about my hair.
Right.
And as many people, even on your reviews or in general, like you go to forums online and you start researching a lot of things as to what you can do, what's going on. Um, a few of my friends had gotten hair transplant, but I didn't want to do that. I felt it was too much. And I noticed that you came up in a few places where you talked about how you regrew your hair without any hair transplant and using natural methods, or available methods, right? Like whatever is available on in the stores and easy to get. And that really interested me. Now I started doing my own research on some of this, but the problem is there's just so much information out there
Right.
that I didn't have the time to go through everything or the patience to go through everything. And things contradict, right? Like one person will say one thing that's good, the other person says something is bad. So I really wanted to work with someone that knew what they were doing, that had results, and that could help me. So that's what was happening when I reached out. It wasn't like I wasn't, completely bald or anything, but it was, I felt like I was on the way there. And I'd also met a dermatologist who was like, yeah, like your hair is falling, it's going to continue receding, and in a couple of years, like it'll just get worse. So I didn't like that. I was panicking and I
Right.
reached out.
Right, I see. And before you, like right before you joined the program, like what did happen exactly? Like I assume that you had shedding. Like what else did happen in terms of your scalp health, in terms of like
Yeah.
underlying problems?
So a couple of things, a lot of shedding, right? Way more than I saw. And I just saw hair everywhere, and that was like really stressful. So shedding was the number one indicator. I saw like less regrowth. Shedding is fine where you get some regrowth, but I didn't see that coming. But then in the scalp, I noticed a lot of dandruff. Um, and I've always had dandruff issues, but this was like really, really bad. And the itchy scalp and the red kind of itchiness, and then also bleeding because I was scratching so much.
Right,
So a lot of scalp issues that
right,
came up
right. And
before it.
that bleeding, did it happen because you had so much itchiness, or did it happen because you want to take away those flakes that was in your scalp?
Both, right? Like I think when you're itchy, I also like you use your nails and you scratch,
Uh,
and it goes away. And I think some of it was also I don't know exactly, but it may have been because of the other factors. But I'm pretty sure I scratched a lot. So
Right. And like sometimes I have seen the guys who have this kind of problems and they have been on finasteride for a long time. They assume that that finasteride doesn't work, and then they try to increase a dose of it or step to the finasteride or add a topical anti-allergen. Like, what was the reason you decided that the problem was not just DHT related, like not allergen related, that it was something else? What made you believe that the solution I offer what would be helpful?
uh, you know, I I I don't know the actual science behind it, but I always feel like there's more to the body than just individual parts, right? Like I don't think my hair is just a reflection of the scalp. I think like I've noticed that when I'm happier, when I eat better, when I look better, my hair's
Right.
better. And when
Right.
things are bad, it reflects there. And it's not just hair, it's hair, it's skin, it's your organs, it's how you feel. It's so many things. So my whole thought was that everything is interconnected. And when I read about the fact that, what you eat can impact your hair or how you sleep or, the things that you apply and how much it can impact, even allergies, that made intuitive sense to me. So before I decided that finasteride was not working, and I looked at many people who had been finasteride users for a long time online and saw, what they said, and no one said like give up finasteride, right? Like everyone was like, if you give it up, you're going to lose your hair immediately until there's a new treatment available. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to increase the dose because I don't like taking finasteride. And it has no impact, that's good, but
Right.
I don't like taking it,
Right.
or the idea of taking a drug all the time. So I didn't want to increase the dose anyway. So I was stuck between these two
Mm. Mm.
scenarios, and that's why.
All right, I see. All right. In terms of the program itself, like what, like in terms of the structure of the program, like how did you find the structure? Like, was it okay to follow? Was it easy to implement? Like, can you tell a bit more about it?
Yeah. What I really liked about the program, which I highly recommend, is you approached it with a very data-backed approach. So you made me take a lot of tests online about what I was eating, the nutrition and the values, and we looked at like our sodium levels, potassium levels, or all the other kind of micronutrient levels. And then we looked at what I was doing to my hair, what I was putting on, what I was allergic to, what I didn't want, what I wanted. So it was like very, very fact-based, very data heavy, and the solutions were tailored to what I needed and what I wanted. So I know in the beginning when we started, for example, I said I don't want to do minoxidil because it was I'm highly allergic to. The one time I tried it, it was like really bad, and that was like many, many years ago. And you gave me all these other oils and other things that I could apply, which I'm sure would have worked well. But then
Mm.
eventually we found out that there's a minoxidil that's less,
Mm.
that's more sensitive and works fine. And I've been using that for the last few years. So I think what I really liked was the structure, was a data-driven approach. It was not like a copy paste from, for, oh, I've done this for 100 people. Let me do the same thing for
Mm.
you. And it was very, very well researched. You looked at like all the things that I wouldn't even have thought about. So
Right. Okay. Awesome. And in terms of the results that you start to notice, like your scalp was like more like inflamed, like that was more like
yes,
inflammatory problem you're having.
yes, yeah.
Like how long did it actually take for you to notice that there was less inflammation, less flakes, less need for stretching? Like how many months into the program you actually notice those difference?
So I think I noticed like initial difference was in in maybe a month and a half. So when I actually reached out to you, I was the topical thing that they put on the head to like reduce the inflammation. I was
Yeah,
putting
steroid.
that,
Yeah.
the steroid. And
Yeah.
yeah, I knew like I didn't want to do that. So I think almost when we started talking, we took away the steroid, and we started doing this, and it took about like maybe 4 to 6 weeks before I like noticed like the immediate change. And then a
Mm.
few months in, I don't remember exactly how many months, but it was like 2, 3 months in at least, where you notice the effects are like, okay, your skin is not itchy, your scalp is not itchy, your body's able to handle it, because it takes time for you to also implement all the changes, right? So
Yeah.
I'd say like a few months in, and then after a year, it was like very
Mm.
healthy.
Mm.
So yeah.
All right, awesome. And in terms of like struggles and any challenges during the program, like did something happen to you and during the programs that caused that you had some setbacks, or was it smooth? Like how did you found the like a process?
I think it's not so much setback, but it's a lot of learning.
Mm.
So, for example, learning how to do dermapen,
Yeah.
right? Watching the videos, making sure I was doing it correctly, changing my diet. What I thought was okay was not, and like implementing those changes took some time. Uh, Tracking behaviors and all that. So I think that it was not like I saw the program and was challenged from that perspective, but the behaviors take time.
Yeah.
But what was difficult for me was the minoxidil. We remember you were like, okay, you can take all these different oils and you can mix it
Yeah.
and put it in the hair. That I felt was like not working. So when
Mm.
that changed to the minoxidil that started working, that made a big difference
Yeah.
to me. So
All right.
maybe that would be the big one.
Right, I see. All right. On in terms of like your situation now, like it has been a while since you actually ended the program, but in terms of
Yeah.
situation now, like how you have been able to manage the problem by yourself, like from things you learned from this program, has it been okay for you to not kind of re-trigger the online problems, re-trigger the inflammation? Have you been able
Yeah.
to keep it in a good state?
Hopefully you see
Yeah.
the hair. Look, I think a few things. So one is like I'm sure it's changed a bit. Like I'm pretty happy with the way things are.
Mm.
Um, the There are some things that I don't do on the program, which I should probably do more of. Like some things that are more there were some scalp solutions and things that you asked me to do more regularly, and that takes time, so probably don't do that. But there's some things like I do religiously. So all the protocols about what to take, the supplements, monitoring my diet and what to eat, getting the amount of exercise that you recommended, the sleep. So there are some things that I follow like every single day, and I've not given it up. And I think that really, really helps. It actually helps with everything. It helps with the hair, sure, but also helps with life in general. So a lot of the things that you said, like really helpful. I'm sure, we should do another session sometime to just go through what I'm eating and making sure that it's still all accurate. But the challenge, once I saw that it worked, and because I didn't want to lose, my hair so quickly, it was easy to keep going.
So in terms of someone else who is struggling with the same problem, Mita, like what would you say to them? Like if they are having scalp that is having scalp inflammation, if they are having shedding, if they are having itchiness that requires this crash structure scalp, like what would you suggest for them to do?
To talk to you is good, but I think that if you're having a scalp issue so bad that your doctor gives you steroid, you should really question what is going on, because it's not always just a topical problem. Like it's a lot deeper than that. There's a few things that can affect it. So allergies is one, what you eat is one, how your mental state is, whether you're resting enough, whether you're working out enough. So I would say like truly examine all the things in life that is going on or that have changed, and look at factors beyond just your scalp to address inflammation. I think inflammation is a big factor in hair loss.
Right. No, it is definitely, especially if you are taking finasteride and it doesn't work, right? Like because the thing is that we had a kind of similar situation with like because I had been on finasteride myself for 2 years with amazing results, and then it stopped completely work because when I got scalp inflammation and I lost all my gains, right? So you are kind of in the same path, but you reached out to me earlier as compared to when your inflammation was not that intense, so you still had decent amount of hair left, but it was it was shedding out still way too much. So so yes, awesome, Mittal. And anything else you want to say to our audience? Anything else?
I think look, sometimes like people so sometimes people, I commented on one of your videos, and sometimes people like reach out to me, but like, oh, should I do this? And it's so expensive and this and that, and like, is it worth it? So what I'd say is like, yeah, it's expensive, but everything that has value is costs money. So I really got value from it, and I think that if you try to do this on your own, you can. I'm sure you can do it, but you're never going to be able to do it in a structured, programmed way over a year. And that's what really made a difference. It's not that your information that you had is only Like I'm sure if you do research, everyone can find it. But for me, what really, really helped was how we checked in very regularly, how you created a program just for me, and it went over time, for up to a year, I think almost. And that path was very helpful. So that's what I liked.
Right. So you did enjoy the structure of the program, did enjoy how it was set up and all the action. Right. Okay. Yes. No, that's great, Mittal. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for attending this interview. It means a lot for us.
Course.
And great to have you here, because it has been a while since we spoke as well. So
exactly. Great.
All right. Thank you.